In this video, we will show how we launched Canada, what results we achieved, and discuss all the nuances of working with Facebook. Right now, there is such a problem, surely many of you are facing it, that accounts are getting banned. First, I want to show you an account for Turkey. You can see the volume with your own eyes. Overall, everything is fine. But accounts really are getting banned. And I recommend switching, given the current situation. To spend accounts to accounts with spending history, which actually will work for you long term. Get these spend accounts in our shop via the link in the description. They stick better and are more productive, especially in Turkey. Ramadan is ending, and though we didn't post videos, we quietly ran traffic, maximized results, and got great returns with various slots and streams. You can see the results from one of the ad accounts on the screen. Yes, here as well, we also had some spend here. Basically, everything is happening right before your eyes. Friends, regarding the polls, the Polish traffic also got cut off. Here you go. A number of ad accounts for Poland. You remember, right? We were running traffic there. So here we made a profit of 950 batches. There was some spend here as well. Here's what I wanted to show you. Yes, here we have Canada Friends. You can also watch how Canada is running. One of the ad accounts right before your eyes. It's still spending there right now. A new day is starting now. The point is, you'll see exactly what I mean. Let me show you the results for Canada right away. Take a look at how Nikita and I selected the creatives, how we launched the campaign, and explained all the analytics details. There's one successful one, basically, that's the main bet. Let's clarify, it's not $250. In fact, it's 250 euros. But the commercial value here is adjusted to 50 because it's converted to dollars. Overall, even with this rate, you can calculate the profit for yourself right now, can't you? Just so you know, Nikita and I launched from the 8th to the 10th, if I'm not mistaken. Now, a new day has kind of started, so from the 8th to the 10th, the account spent up to 2, account C. We'll see the results for it together. By the way, Poland, where we have the cap, it was performing as well. Poland is still alive. Now, with the new day, we'll need to restart here. Let me find it. It crashed. Just a second. I also prepared something for you about Poland and Canada. I'll show you another account right before your eyes. You can calculate everything yourself. Yes, here the new day has also started in the networks. I'd like to point out the account that didn't start. We'll talk about it separately later in the video with Nikita. And leave the approach. Friends, here, just so you understand, the slots are classic slots, a lot of them. Let me show you what was running there. Now, with the new day, everything should have updated. Yes, everything that was running. So let's take a look. Basically, the stream format that we were running for Canada up to the conversion value. Here, you can see for yourself, Raya. This is all done with slots in the funnel itself. We'll talk about it a bit later. So friends, here's a bit of an educational moment. Build a good stable setup. Use spin accounts. They perform much better. They last longer. You can run dark sum campaigns. They will work for the long term. They'll be able to optimize as needed. All you need to do is work correctly and meticulously. Exactly. So, use a spy tool, use a timer. The link is in the description. Go and search by those metrics, as we'll show later in the video with Nikita. Look for creatives. Select them, test them using the 135 method. Let's say for each ad set, take 5 different creatives. So if you're using the 135 testing methodology like we do, then choose either 5 or 15 creatives. From those, you launch as described further, and then the filtering starts by networks. If the result is less than 1, stop immediately. After a small spend, look at the clicks. If it's 2% of your target cost per lead, or if you have 10% of your target cost per lead, and accordingly 20%. This is Riga, everything is by the book, 2, 10, 20. Remember these metrics. Those who have been with us for a while know these videos, and for those who don't, it will be covered in the next videos. More on that later. Next, filter the click to install transition. Remember the constructor. We use it in our Set Pro link campaign. It's also in the description. We provide everything with more details in upcoming videos. Essentially, your task is to test creative options carefully. Right now, we're filtering within our buying team, our masters, and also, if you're an active webmaster and have some approaches or combinations, my contact is in the description. Send your case right away. Let us know what you have. Join us and run traffic with our teams. We're expanding right now with Tier 1 geos, Turkey, and Africa. Basically, there are options for everyone. Any caps? We'll find the right fit for you, and you'll be able to work with us on a pretty lucrative network. I'll share the details about the network personally during the interview or when we chat in the Telegram channel. In the same way, friends, I also want to touch on the topic of mentorship. If you want to select Canada in this way, let's just take a look here. We also had some traffic here, probably from the 8th to the 10th. That's when it started. So that's $750. GMT plus 3 failed for Canada. If you try after this video use -5, 6, 7, or 8, these are the best zones where Canada converts most meticulously. If you project onto my time, GMT plus 3, you need to determine when you'll be getting deposits. Deposits start coming in at 5 p.m. If you adjust for plus 3, you can translate it to your own time, so it shifts to 6. From 5 p.m. until about 8 a.m. is when you see the biggest spike in active traffic, that is, deposit conversions for Canada. Accordingly, you need to aim for this prime time, and in fact your campaign will start off slowly, optimizing itself, and in the evening it will reap the rewards. Later on, you can manage these campaigns, like I did, by turning them on and off as you see how they perform before hitting the stop limit. In short, this is how you'll be playing around with the metrics. What did I want to say here? Just a second. Value. Next. Here, we're counting 750. Let's round up the batches, right? So, how many did we have there? The first account, yes, here it's 750, then 1,500, and another account. We had 1,500, and here it's 400. So that gives you 2,000, right? If you round it up. We ended up with $2,000 in net profit there in, well, not quite, but in 2 or 3 days. I'm saying this to show how we demonstrated it with SPA. Even now, it's possible to put this together. After yesterday's planning meeting, I've been thinking that while many had the day off, we were working hard, managing partnerships and screening people with the whole team. If you really want to make progress, you just can't be lazy. Facebook works, it delivers results, it brings in good quality traffic. Your task is simply to meticulously work through the funnel and test for at least a week. 10 to 20 creatives with different approaches. And that's when you'll find a working combination. Filtering starts with the basics again, by networks, then by clicks, installs, registration, and deposit. Logically, for each step, you track the next metric from the previous one. You are working through the entire full set of information. Yes, meaning that certain intermediate services are working for you, which organize the transition from the previous metric. As for scaling all of this, we'll cover that with Nikita in the next video. There, we'll cover Poland and Canada. I think we'll show you how to manage and scale everything. We'll share it. Now let's move on to the actual funnel setup and collection. We'll work through that right now. The visuals themselves, yes, meaning the creatives and the visuals for the app. We'll explain our sort of algorithm. Are we going to launch it together, sweetie? Yes, just like the classic approach. And most importantly, we have the bid is $290. Well, here you can make a deposit of around $200 or overall about $250. You can even buy it out, and then you can strategically add more of the same, like some ice fishing, for example, to balance out the metrics. Let's start searching together, in Canada, using the basic ones, symmetry, or even just by call to action. In general, let's try out different options, maybe even by domains. Basically, we also recommend Tiver to the guys. Yes, we have a service. The link is in the description. You can use it.
Yes, hello again, everyone. Look, where do we start in our search for creative ideas? It is clear that, first of all, this is our choice of geo. Canada, country restrictions. We recommend setting it to yes, unless you're looking for creatives for multi-geo. Maybe so that these creatives don't appear, so that they don't bother you or distract you. What is the trap with Tiver? It can show you creatives that are quite old, yes, ones that were running 3 months ago.
Or even 6 months ago. By the way, let me make a quick note here, Nikita, probably even for you as well. Creatives that were running 3 months ago or even 6 months or a year ago, very often, well-forgotten old creatives actually start working again today. So you can even take them and test them as a hypothesis.
We can try it this way, we can try it that way. It's just that what I rely on, for example, when selecting creatives from Tiver, Facebook itself doesn't tell you whether a creative is good or bad, whether it was run at a profit or at a loss. That's why we have to rely on certain parameters to decide whether it's worth taking a creative or not. But when we already have enough exposure to creatives and we generally understand which direction to pair them in, then of course we can cheat a little and rely on our own preferences. Well, then let's do it without. The creation dates of the creatives, okay, and the main parameters for searching for trios in general. Let's start with the pixel variable. Yes.
In the classic way, the most common one overall, in general, that's how you can find them. In fact, many people say yes, that creatives from pairing do work. Yes, they work. You just need to select them properly. And then, based on these references, you can test further, refine something, and create your own. By the way, you know what I think? Nikita and I were just discussing what we're going to choose. We're really going through creatives with you live right now. That's really cool. Obviously, ice fishing works there, but right now we're focusing on quality. We're specifically doing a slot stream. And by the way, it's an official casino. Why did we overlook it?
We can give it a try. We can give it a try.
Yeah.
Now I'm curious.
Let's do it. Yeah, let's check it out. Why not? Let's take a look. Let's also check the library right away to see what's being shown and what's not. At the same time, we'll add the next step for the audience right now. Something's even active. Since the 6th, actually. By the way, this could actually be the case, and it's working. Look how they're pouring in the masses, launching it. Why not, actually?
Yeah. And it's a very interesting strategy, by the way, to take the same offline official approach. Yeah, in combination later on. With phishing, it's actually a pretty cool idea.
So it's a strategic approach. Your slot players will bring in the main average check, and basically you can increase your margin by mixing in slots, live games, and table games. But the point is a bit different. Initially, you still need to catch those high rollers. By the way, I just started thinking about this creative right now. It caught my attention in parallel. I think, why not give it a try? Look, the guys use it in various visualizations. It's also one of those strategies. Basically, what we need to do now is check the cloaking as another option, see what's inside, what the guys have set up for this geo through our bar. Let's see what else there is. By the way, we can make a note of it, maybe even drop the domain in the chat for us. Yeah.
I'm just browsing through the tab here. So, offline approach.
This is dice fishing, got it? No, we'll skip that one. There was also this slot here, you see grade casino on the side. What is this offline approach, friends? Let's explain it. Generally speaking, we actually covered it quite a while ago, probably back in 2019 or 2020, and most people started using it after that. The basis here is an official gambling establishment, where in fact you can build a funnel based on this real casino product located, for example, in Canada. And in this way you really attract your target audience. Those users who may have visited this establishment before, and accordingly for them, this serves as a trigger. Canada, you see, a lot is actually pouring. Straight, meaningful.
Yes, that is absolutely correct.
So let's take an even more detailed look. By the way, the lotto approach also produces good quality. I just saw it out of the corner of my eye. Listen, there's a lot of static. Let me pay attention, okay?
Yes. Well, in general, there is a lot of offline approach about the offline official approach.
And here,
there's really a lot.
And also, look, Gruda is working on the 5th. Even something is pouring in for the guys, apparently. Then we still need to find that reference we talked about, right? Where is it shown? There. The life game is really Salad Salatov, and up to the classic ones, it's not the same as, say, Gates of Olympus. Some, I don't know, like Wolves, and so on and so forth. Indeed, for Canada, it's more... If you want to attract good solvent players, this approach actually works quite well. Well, we're talking about something like an official casino. There's plenty here. I'm surprised. We haven't visited Canada in ages. That's how I'll put it. You can see there's a ton of it right here. It's kind of like, no, I don't think it's just a random situation. Most likely it probably works. And ice fishing, take a look. Notice, friends, there's no chicken. The chicken has completely fizzled out. At least in Canada. There are a lot, right? So basically we only see 2 variations here, right? Presented in vector form. That's offline casinos and... Oh, wow, by the way, there are some other slots showing up now.
And there he is, trying to show up somewhere, doing something.
On the right, by the way, there was that one with the lady standing in the casino. A woman, yes. Let's see what slot is inside. These are the kinds of features that work here. Well, obviously Amazon, that whole story. All right, no, that's not going to work for us.
All right, then. Let's try to speed things up a little bit more right now. Obviously, you can search by variable pixels, right? Let's look some more.
Let's see, maybe... All right, come on, do it, let's go.
You can search by some keywords, key phrases. Well, in general, that's also something that's pretty obvious. An interesting point that not many buyers, I'm not sure why, know about is searching for creatives by domain zones. Many people hide the pixel variable so it can't be found. Many try not to use keywords and so on. But domain zones, let's call them, say, the most Desmond ones, they actually work pretty well.
The third level of the domain zone, actually. What kind of search option? Chicken, chicken. Some are crumbling right along this domain zone, just pointing that out. By the way, actually, good teams are pouring traffic to .coms, really. Now, they're taking first-level domains and using more custom solutions.
Or maybe it's just about .coms or about .shop.
Well, about .com. A bunch of other ads, third-party ones, will actually pop up there. And that's why here, I think you and I... although, here's what we could do. I have this, a phrase. A phrase, yeah. A combination came to mind. Let's do .com. Let's put a call to action. Play game, for example. Chicken, one chicken. Petro. Well, yeah. Well, by the way, look, there's something there. No, some slots started showing up. There's even a leprechaun, yeah. Already getting closer to the point. Welcome to the day.
XT?
Listen, there's so much static. I'm surprised. It's classic, but PVA was always static too, Creo. Worked it out. Very nice, yeah. And there are probably, it seems to me, damn, maybe we should put together an offline casino? For some reason, I don't know, have a gut feeling that as if it should work out in Canada.
Yeah, let's do it, yeah. And the creatives have been selected. So become. Deliver live. The approaches have been tidied up.
Yeah. I'm also surprised they're not here. We can still, of course. Now I'm thinking, how else can we check? No, let's try,
Or we can, in the worst case, just use a bit, just show an example. Remember live approaches. What is meant by that?
Yes, somewhere here, friends, you'll see one of the options, let's say creatives. We'll show it as an example for you to take a look at. This also works very well right now, especially for GeoCanada, and actually provides good returns for advertisers. At the same time, with such a bid, say $290, or in Europe, 250 euros. That's the current bid on this offer. We won't highlight it specifically, but nevertheless, you can launch with a pretty hefty margin. All right, then let's put it together. Yeah, probably offline casinos, and maybe we can mix in something related to live, why not? If we can find something in the visuals right now with you at the LKU, maybe something with a more versatile design. So if there's no attachment to a specific slot, why not try using this approach as a base? What do you think? Let's do it.
Yeah, let's try it.
This is to launch it the same way, just to see the test, to see how it all goes. And basically, overall, we have Saturday, Sunday, and Monday there. We'll run the company data, and see what happens, how they perform in terms of results. We ended up choosing offline casinos, right? Well, we paid attention to what personally triggered us too. Actually, there are a lot of them out there right now. Let's open some new tabs for a second. Go ahead, open a new tab here and type in official casino in Canada. And what was that casino D something? It was there. That's the one in Montreal. That's exactly the one we picked. That's what it was called. Well, anyway, let's not get into that. It's definitely on the list here, but that's not the point. There it is, Descharvilleux, that's the one, right where your cursor is. So look, friends, there is an official gambling establishment, and it's based on that the entire funnel is set up, as well as the static materials, the creatives themselves, and the design of the PWA itself. Either the interior or the exterior is used. We talked about this in the mentorship program, and now we can basically reveal this story. If you've watched up to this point, good for you. You can use this at all tiers, really, and it's not just for Europe, but also for Tier 3 geos. You could even set this up in India, like when there was Pride Casino, for example. Let's move on. So, we've selected the creatives, right? We'll launch them in various visualizations, and in one batch we'll take no more than 5 creatives, I think. Maybe, depending on how many visuals we have for this funnel, that's how many creatives and campaigns we'll make. But we'll try to keep it to no more than 1 campaign. Oh, I mean, for one ad set, we'll use no more than 5 creatives inside. We'll explain the launch methodology. Now let's talk about how to test the cloaking, right? Let's show it. Yes.
A little trickier. We won't be creating the design for the pre-landing and so on ourselves. So it's a maximally simplified launch. We'll even do the launch, the preparation for the launch. Yes. We'll check it just to see what the pre-landing looks like. Yes, from the person who was running this ad. It's not working. We landed on this.
On the white page on
We are currently on the bot. So let's go ahead and take a look at this truly wonderful and amazing bot right now.
Yes, friends, the link to it is available. They also stole the Telegram.
Cloaking.
You can use it.
Yes, but not anymore. We've already checked several designs, so they're directing it to such a landing. This is also provided as a separate file.
Yes, meaning the visuals where you can already see the preview. Yes, you can check it in the archive. Basically, everything is there. Graphics and even the content. Everything is inside, so your task is really just to refine it. Based on what we emphasized in previous videos, I think today we won't dwell on this. But of course, naturally try to refine it for yourselves. Basically, at first just take the visuals and graphics, test them out and see what kind of results you get. Then you can start upgrading everything and making it more up to date. Let's say the visuals. By the way, what's up with the acids?
Yeah, that's because they've appeared.
Cool. And really, yeah, the visuals are okay. 1 million Skype. Well, I would actually just fully translate it, honestly. So let's remind ourselves, yes, that we are currently working based on this service. Overall, in general, it has shown itself to be very effective in terms of conversion. The guys here are refining a lot of features according to our requests, so to speak. Some things they do themselves, some things they add based on their own experience. And we already have clients from Mendoza practicing on it. So overall, if you want to test it out, use the promo code for Lead General. There are some free installs and other things to try. If you like it, you can continue using it. We're not trying to persuade anyone. Just make sure to split test all the services properly. So you've created a PWA. Here, pay special attention to the content. Make sure to add a description for the app and work on the comments, because the content component has a significant impact on your conversion rate. Basically, you specify the technical name, choose the language that matches your geo. Upload more visuals for the app overall. In general, you don't need to use anything here except for the one option at the very bottom, and we'll give a recommendation for that. Specifically for Canada, this will be relevant for iOS settings. That is, instead of opening the offer by default right away for the last parameter, we set it to show the instruction first. That is, so that a pop-up window appears and the user with an iPhone can install your app, and in doing so also subscribe to push notifications, which actually gives you an additional conversion. iPhone users install, we will show an insert somewhere with how many conversions we're getting. Or maybe not exactly an insert, but we might get conversions. Yes, there are registrations, deposits, specifically from iOS users, and we'll demonstrate this to you as well, because it really pays off and you should take advantage of it. Well, moving on, we won't go through all the tabs right now. For now, we won't create anything at this very moment, meaning we'll prepare the content and the insert and distribute the description and comments. Overall, in general, we can even copy up to 100 in the app. Nikita, show what's inside this archive so it's clear to everyone. So, we've opened the archive that we've unpacked. Great. So, friends, inside you'll find all the graphics, avatars, even those for commenters, but it's better to refine them in the archive, of course. I think the guys just grabbed some things quickly. So, always refine your content, because even the current teams that come for mentoring still put things together in a rush. And when we refine the whole funnel, so to speak, it really improves things. It also increases the conversion rate percentage-wise. So this is something you need to pay attention to. All right, Nikita, let's open the text document. That is, all the textual content is inside you, both the description and the name of the application. Basically, all the text values that were present on the landing page. All of this has been parsed, all of it has been extracted. You can make use of this. So, it's the 9th, 2115.
Yes, we have several ad accounts running here. Take a look. The first account, let me remind you, is a mix, right? An offline approach combined with ice fishing. And what's interesting is that if you look at the breakdown by deposits, they're about half and half. And actually, I think the offline approach even brought in a bit more deposits than ice fishing. That's it. Getting back to the account, the story with this account seems kind of random, something to do with the deposit.
Yes, by the way, speaking of the account, let's immediately focus on the time zone. The account is set to GMT -3, as far as I remember. Let's click it. Yes. Canada. Actually, friends, things go better with negative accounts, no matter what anyone says. Even internally, that's what we see. We even wrote a manual with the guys at buying, and this morning we went over it. Yes, -5, -6, -7, -8. For Canada, the most ideal time zones for launching are the negative ones. So we recommend taking note of that and working with them. Here, in reality, the third positive cap performed, well, terribly. Thank God, at least something dropped here, at least a little. It was really random, just as Nikita pointed out. Well, it was just rock bottom, absolutely terrible. Even though in the last campaign, the CTR was just It turned out to be terrible. Although these exact same creatives, yes, they were used here, and moreover, it was for an online casino. The CTR there was awful. There were only 4 clicks, each costing $16. Just terrible overall. Although these exact same creatives, Nikita, you'll show them in a moment, performed completely differently in other accounts. I'm just noting this as an example of how the time zone also affects your launches, and in general, the accounts themselves as well. Maybe it was just that particular account too.
It's also interesting for you to note that the payouts here are not $250 and record the payout in the quality dollar.
I'll explain why.
The rate.
The delivery is just set at 250 euros for us. It gets passed on to the kit, to the tracker, to the guitar, in Scala, and then to 20 Pro. Basically, the parameters go through and the payout shows as 50 or 250 in FB currency. Got it. It accepts dollars if you convert the rate to dollars. We just checked 200, it's about 89 or 90. The exchange rate fluctuates, but let's round it up to 290. But let's stick with 250 here because we've already taken the slots. Why did we mix things up? Because offline casinos, in fact, always bring in big, high-value, high rollers, which we've already seen from the feedback, but it's much more expensive to buy in. Actually, it worked out great for us here, and now we're definitely going to use this approach overall. Geo and product. We'll definitely scale this. Just a quick estimate. Okay.
Let's jump into the second account then. The picture in the second account is already a bit livelier, more upbeat. The date range is listed as the 6th to the 9th, but in reality it's from the 7th to the 9th.
Doesn't matter. Nothing will change. Well,
because there were fewer days for all this.
To begin running now?
Yeah, basically 3 days. Here the picture already looks nicer, more lively. It started, and again, interestingly, the creatives are identical.
Yeah.
But the CTR is already different. Let's even do it.
Well, yeah.
The CTR is significantly different. Conversions to leads, registrations, and deposits are noticeably better.
There are just some nuances. What did we do here? We used different creatives in different ad sets. In short, different creatives. This is actually what our big post in Telegram is about. Our Telegram is practically all about arbitrage, by the way, friends. If you haven't subscribed yet, the link is in the description. Be sure to subscribe. We regularly share useful information there. Not just notifications, announcements, and so on, or about conferences and such, but also really practical, useful content and recommendations for launching campaigns. And that's exactly where we wrote a big post saying that Facebook is now as versatile as possible. Your task is, in fact, to work on the creatives, refine the funnel, and if necessary, slightly adjust the launch method. Yes, at the start, that's 13 campaigns. And maybe even to the point where you have one campaign with 1,355 ads in it. With this, you have a ceiling to scale up, and if you have the budget to actually launch such a setup, you'll need it. There, you set 1 or 2 network bids at 100. We started with just one and set the bids and budget. But actually, at the start, you can set even more so that the potential of these creatives can be revealed further. We, in fact, filter all this by networks, by clicks, and then accordingly by the transition from click to install and to subsequent metrics. Here, let me remind you, you are already working through both the builder and the app. At the center, we generally process everything as accurately as possible. So friends, test it out and see. The difference is actually significant. What I mean is, if you are working with other builders, be sure to test out any new features. So, I recommend you take the split from Cetro. Let me remind you that, according to our mileage, some things have also become free for you, so you can take it, test it out, and see how it works for you. And in short, everyone is happy. That is, on 135, we have launched 15 different creatives. That is, the creatives do not repeat each other, so that within one campaign they don't compete with each other, and FBSOM distributes the budget and advantages. Yes, it was distributing to the successful ads, meaning it was cycling through them and analyzing. That's exactly how it works now. And the more you test during Creative Week, what we're focusing on right now in buyings, the more you run a large number of tests, new creative tests, some ZSK, including what we showed with him. Yes, we took creatives, selected them, and refined them. Basically, you need to act quickly. We spent an hour or 2 there, sat down with the video, then recorded a fragment for you, and here we just dedicated time to searching for creatives. Anyone can do all this using the same algorithm with Tiver, friends. If you haven't tried Tiver yet, go ahead and get it. Also, with our promo code at Lead Generals, there are some discounts available. Well, anyway, okay, let's move on to the next account. We'll go through all of them and give some recommendations. Here we have something. Here the cap got hit. Yes?
This account got hit right from the start. It didn't really even get any traffic here. What's interesting is it tried to give something at the beginning, quite nice actually, and pretty successful, but it got rejected.
Regarding the account, again, about us, about our Telegram, just now there was a post, I don't remember exactly. An hour or two ago, they published a recommendation about which setups to use right now. We try to work with Panda accounts compared to agency ones. They don't get banned like that, they don't have issues, and in fact, you can spend different amounts on them. At the beginning of the video, for those who haven't watched, check it out. I demonstrated an ad campaign there. Basically, I showed how campaigns supposedly last a long time with agents and how good Panda campaigns can actually perform. They can bring in large amounts. You can also run all these ad campaigns by getting them from our shop. We've put together a kind of system for you, and basically all we need from you is the desire to work. This is what we tell our buyers, and we're telling you the same thing. Essentially, all you need is just that. Don't be lazy, work hard, and do your best. Let's move on. If that's the case, it's not financially viable.
Let's jump over here, and
here we have.
Here it's a bit nicer as well. This is one of the more attractive accounts in terms of performance.
Yes, the fact that some ads, friends, are stopped somewhere, or something might be running incorrectly for a day or so, that's logical. I think you are reasonable people. If you see that yesterday's ad or the creative that was performing well is now, excuse me, giving you crap results today, well, logically, you should stop it. There's no point in just spending blindly. It's definitely foolish, friends, so always read every cent, check the metrics, keep an eye on them, and the outcome will be nice. So, for those who wanted to ask us about Canada, let's show what else you have from life. Yes.
I would also like to clearly show, to illustrate what you're talking about regarding that you shouldn't just let it run here as something extra.